Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Zheng Cao. I'm a professor from the Department of Modern and Classical Languages. Today, I have the honor to chair this panel discussion. And before the discussion, we have a video presentation. Xiaolin, who is the director of a Rocky Mountain Ballet Troupe, will give us a few movie or video clips that she will show the trips that she took with the ballet group in China. Well, Xiaolin is the true ambassador between Montana and China. And she took ballet troupe to China on many trips. And they traveled extensively through China, actually, where she has been to more places than I have. And she knows China a lot, and she has a rich experience. And today, we'll have the pleasure of her here sharing some of her experiences here. Let's give her a round of applause.
So this is just a brief introduction to a little bit of Montana's experience in China. And it's true, we've been back and forth to China many times since 2008. And so it was difficult to find just one clip that would be appropriate for everything that's happening during the conference. So the first clip I'm going to show you is from our very first trip in 2008. Then we're going to introduce you to a song, and we have one more clip. So I'll explain the clips at the end. 谢谢.
Nobody teaches company class in China. It's a closed institution. So it's a great privilege for me and the dancers and our guests. A sea of feet and legs.
What's that?
A sea. A huge ocean worth of feet and legs to die for. Outside arm. I got to see how my choreography looks on a Chinese dancer who's never maybe had that interpretation of that particular music that they danced to. And besides that, we were traveling with our own musical director, Karen Carreno. So they were hearing music that they were very unaccustomed to. So the Chinese got, in the National Ballet, a big, giant dose of different types of imagery from Rocky Mountain Ballet Theater, from the music that they were dancing to the choreography I was giving them, and to the sea of orange T-shirts and bandanas that were sitting at the front, watching them and photographing them. A few of our dancers got to take company class. Ashley did very well. I don't need to second guess the impression we made on the Chinese, individually or as a company, because in one afternoon, the director's been invited back to choreograph and teach, and two of my dancers have been invited to participate in a competition that really, more than the majority of our competition returning to China, are only government-subsidized dancers. And the fact that Missoula, Montana has a program that we can compete on that level, I'm very proud.
Oh, they did very well. The kids in this class, I mean, because it was very fast. You know, it was really, really going because they only a 1 hour class and they had to get everything in. So it was
So this was definitely a good experience for the kids.
oh yeah, terrific. And they did really, catching on to it, which was a little very different. They held their own.
It was a company class, so it was pretty much for them to warm up,
Yeah.
necessarily for the technique, but they still knew exactly what she was talking about. She
Yeah.
had to say 10 words maybe.
Yeah.
It's,
So what did you? I mean, you kind of had expectations going in, but like, what was the first point that you were like, oh dear?
as soon as we started stretching,
There are relics of choreography that only exist really in the Chinese repertoire. We wanted to learn some of these and show them that not only did we learn them, but we studied them and hopefully performed them, at a level that they would appreciate. So there we are, trying to run a rehearsal on stage at the National Ballet of China. And I look over my shoulder, and my friend Mingyang Kui is speaking very rapid Chinese to a lovely couple. And they are clearly, very clearly, conveying to her some things that must be told to my dancers immediately before we perform tonight. So I asked Ming, I said, who are those people? And she said, well, they were in the movie. They're the dancers that you've been studying for years. And I said, bring them up on stage now. And so that was one of the most moving moments for me of not the China experience, of my whole life, to see this being passed down firsthand from the stars of these ballets, not just to their Chinese dancers, and not just to American dancers, to young dancers from Montana. It made me so happy.
I know. I'm happy too.
Katie Clay has been to China with us twice. And this is a song that is from our sister state, Guangxi Province. And we have one more clip to show you, and then I will wrap it up for you. Bye. This clip is also from 2008. And it followed, this was our second trip back to China, this clip. So it's the return to the National Ballet of China. So here's the point. 2008, because of our former Senator Max Baucus initiating that first trip for us to the Olympics, has had so many, I think millions of ripples. One of our performances were 500,000 people in China. And we have continued to go back and back and back. This year we were on a State Department trip. That particular competition was the one we returned to, hosted by the National Ballet of China. And obviously they could bring the best of the whole world to China and present all of us. It was a great thrill to be there. Those were the winners. The two first dancers you saw was the Chinese winner in the contemporary division, and the second girl was the little girl from Montana who took 7th place in the world. So not the top 3, but number 7, pretty good, and then went on to Juilliard, et cetera, et cetera. But since then, Dr. Kia and I have become very good friends, and this past February, he co-hosted an event with us where we had the Shaanxi Arts Folk Group here. They were puppeteers. They present the white-haired girl, the same ballet that we've learned. And my point is, all over the world, cultural exchange is human communication. So we were thrilled to be here today to just open a moment for the academic side of the conversation, but that it all works together. And that last dancer you saw from Cuba will be here in Missoula in January. So we are going to host an international competition with our friends from China and with our friends from London and with our friends from France. And none of this wouldn't have happened if we hadn't gone to China in 2008. So shusha to our Chinese friends, and welcome to Montana again.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Charlene, for sharing with us your rich experience in China. That brought me back into time, into the 60s and 70s. Well, actually, personally, I grew up with those dances and songs. And I felt sitting there very nostalgic, almost moved me to tears. Before presenting the speakers, or 3 speakers today, I first like to offer thanks to Dr. Kia, Meredith Kia, and also Dr. Adi Kia, and my colleague and brother Samir, for their time and efforts in organizing this. Without their efforts, and this conference would be impossible. And I also would like to offer special thanks to a few organizations, including the Provost's Office, the Department of History, the Department of Modern and Classical Languages, the Montana World Affairs Center. And without all their support, and this conference will not be possible. Today we will have 3 speakers, and all of them are from Shanghai International Studies University, where Dr. Meredith Kia went 4 or 5 years ago to personally establish the relationship, a very strong tie between the 2 universities. Shanghai International Studies University is one of the 3 key national universities in China in the area of internationalism. It's a nationally well-known university, and we have had a lot of very prominent alumni who that include our former First Lady, 2 or 3 foreign ministers, and 1 deputy prime minister, and a lot of other ministers, and also anchors and anchors of national TVs and newspapers and magazines. And interesting enough, right now the current U.S. ambassador to China, Max Baucus, has deep roots in Missoula and also the University of Montana. And the current Chinese ambassador to U.S. is Sisu alumnus, and his name is Cui Tiankai. So he graduated from Sisu. So we sent 1 from Sisu here, and then here UM sent 1 to China to represent each other's countries. Shanghai International Studies University has over 20 colleges and schools of various professionalisms. And among them, there is a particular one, it's called Middle East Research Center. And also a college which is called College of Oriental Studies. And that college teaches nine languages: Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, Turkish, Indonesian, Thai language, Vietnamese, Korean, and Hindi, 9 languages. And Professor Yang is from that college, and he is also the associate dean of that particular college. Well, Professor Yang graduated with a BA degree from Beijing University, which is the top university in China in early 90s. And then he came back to Shanghai and earned his master's degree and PhD degree from Shanghai International Studies University. And then ever since then, well, he has been teaching at the SISU. And he also has been doing a lot of researches in the Middle East. And he has a very long list of publications. That's Professor Yang, and today he's going to talk about, let's see, China-Israel relationships in the new era. And so that's Professor Yang for the first one on my right. And the second speaker is Professor Chen. And Professor Chen also graduated from Shanghai International Studies University with a PhD degree, and he has been working there for quite a few years. And he is not a new face to us. Well, he was here 2 years ago with another 2 scholars here. And he's not only teaching, but also has been doing a lot of extensive research in the Middle East area. And he has published 2 books, and then more than 30 articles in the journal, and several of his papers were published in the leading journals in China. And right now he is a visiting researcher at the Georgetown University in DC. Well, by the way, Professor Yang right now is also working as a visiting scholar in Boston. And on my left is Dr. Bao. Dr. Bao Chengzhang is a postdoctoral researcher at the Middle East Institute of Shanghai International Studies University, where his research focuses on social-political trends, religious extremists, and terrorism in the Middle East, with a concentration on Salafism and its geographical and political influence in the contemporary Middle East. His research interests include social media, youth culture, religion, and international relations of the Middle East. And he also teaches comparative politics of the Middle East and at his university. And Mr. Bao, even very young, well, he has also a few pages of lists of named titles of books and articles that he translated and published in China. And his topic today is the Islamic State, Real Challenges in a Virtual World. And today's order will be with Professor Yang first, and then Professor Chen, and then Professor Bao. And they will give their presentations first, and then after that, the panel is open for questions. And with no further ado, let's put our hands together and give Professor Yang word.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for Professor Cao's introduction, and thank you for Professor Professor Kaya to invite me to give this presentation to talk about China and Israel's relationship. Yeah. It's not so academic. Maybe I think my experience is I witnessed the development of the relations between China and Israel. For the relations between China and Israel, maybe first of all I will be brief something about the history of the relations, not just with the two countries, also the two peoples, because we Chinese people and the Jewish people. Yes, as we know, the historian says the relationship between China and the Chinese people and the Jewish people can date back to the Tang Dynasty. That is in the 7th or 8th century AD. Yeah, some Jewish business people, they came to China, and some of them settled in a city named Luoyang in Henan province in central China. And these people, we call them Kaifeng Jews. Now we can find many some monuments or some. Now they have some descendants still there, and some of them make aliyah to Israel. Some of them even participate in the IDF, I think. It's a very interesting phenomenon. These Kaifeng Jews, they assimilate totally into the mainland Chinese people. They after many years, they can't speak Hebrew. They don't pray in the synagogue. They're just like the Han Chinese. This is a very interesting phenomenon. Many scholars to research. And another history is last 2 centuries. Many Jews came to China, including some Sephardic Jews from Baghdad, from India. They came to Shanghai, to Hong Kong, and some of the very famous ones to make fortunes in Shanghai. Here's some of the very famous names like Sassoon family, like Kadoorie family, and we, last and not the least, we should mention the Jewish refugees in Shanghai. During the World War II, Shanghai became the shelters of about 30,000 Jewish refugees from the Europe. They escaped the Holocaust. There were a very famous person who is also lived his childhood in Shanghai. That's the Secretary of the Treasury in the Carter's administration, Blumenthal. His childhood is in Shanghai. And so we Chinese people and Jewish people, they have a long relationship, date back from the country. They have 2 countries. Many people say, why has China never witnessed any spontaneous or native anti-Semitic activity? Because we have anti-Semitic, maybe originated from deep-rooted religious prejudice. But in China, China is influenced by the Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. And therefore, this kind of strong anti-Semitic fanaticism with deep religious bias does not exist in China, and it never has. And Chinese people and the Jewish people share the many values in their culture, in both Chinese and Jewish cultures. For example, both highly emphasize the family type functions and educational value, and although both have absorbed various exotic cultures, but their central core has never changed since birth. And the third one is, since the middle of the century, the Chinese people suffered much devastations as the Jews did. So I just mentioned. Now we have many joint projects with Israel, and Israel are very interested in for the Holocaust education with China, because we also have some similar memories during the Japanese occupation during the World War II. Yeah. That's some history. As we know, Israel, State of Israel was founded in 1948, and the People's Republic China was set up in 1949, just 1 year after the founding of the State of Israel. So Israel is the first country in the Middle East to recognize the People's Republic China. And after the 1949, Israel and China begin their negotiations for establishing the diplomatic relations, but the process lasted for 43 years until 1992. They established the diplomatic relationship. The reason very complicated. I don't want to. But after the establishment of the relationship, China and Israel's relationship grows rapidly, not just politically and also the culturally and economically. I have some new data. Israel trade with China in 2014 was approximately $8.52 billion, a 4-point increase over 2013. Exports in 2014 amounted to approximately $2.57 billion, the same as in 2013. China now is Israel's fourth largest export target in the world, and its first largest in Asia. In the past 2 years, there has been a turning point in exports to China, with the relative weight of the previous dominant electronic component, chemical, and mineral sectors in favor of other two central sectors. We can find in these 2 or 3 years, China and Israel's relationship grows very fast. Some people say, as we know, now we have some, not conflicts, or maybe breaches between the relationship between Israel and the U.S. Maybe, and Israel have some very precious in the world, isolated. Like I don't know if you know, maybe in some American campus also has some BDS a movement against Israel. Yes, that's a boycott, divestment, and sanctions against. But in China, no. Not only no BDS, I think it's prosperous in our relationship, not just in this economically. I can give you many examples about the cooperation between the economic and some militarily. I think many people knows, and also as a scholar, also the relationship academically between Israel and China prospers these years. Like I'll give you an example. Last year, the Vice Prime Minister of Israel and Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman visited China, and Chinese Vice Prime Minister visited. We signed an agreement to enhance our cultural relationship and academic relationship. So now the Minister of Education planned to establish a joint Israel and China research project. One project means 7 plus 7. The first 7 means the 7 Israeli universities. As we know, Israel has 7 universities. And the second 7 is the 7 top Chinese universities. And the other project is in 7 Chinese top universities, including my universities, Shanghai International University. We will establish a joint Jewish cultural and Israel studies project. Now we just the Minister of Education want us to write the plan, the working plan for this project for the next 3 years. It's very interesting because many of these scholars for this 7 universities are now in the U.S. Many of them in Boston. So just 2 weeks ago, we discussed this. We say this plan. We can. All these scholars have the experience in Israel. Now they are in the U.S. to promote their teachings and researches, and another is Israel will encourage more Chinese students to study in Israel. Just this morning, I got an email from my university. The Chinese Scholarship Council will grant 60 Chinese graduate students to get the grant to do their MA degrees in Israeli University, and give 200 BA students to the international flight fee to have 1 month experience in this summer in Israel universities. So this is just some examples how China and Israel's relationship grow fast. But as we know, also I have some examples about Israel also joined the AIIB. Professor Tian will say about it. It's Asian investment instruction investment bank. Yeah, Israel is very active in participate in the One Road and One Belt strategy of China. That's the Professor Tian's topic. But I think though Israel and China's relationship growing fast, but still have some problems in their relations. Maybe some third party will hamper their relationships. The third party for Israel, maybe it's U.S. If we know China and Israel have some crisis during their relationship. During the in the year of 2000, during the Camp David negotiations, Premier Barak canceled the contract with China to sell the AWACS system to China. That's under the pressure of the U.S. And for China, maybe because China's view in the Middle East conflict, China always support the Palestinians' efforts to establish the state. And China's relations with Iran, Israel is also very worried about. But I think it cannot hamper the future Israel and Chinese relationships. Thank you.
And the next speaker will be Professor Chen. And Professor Chen is from the Middle East Institute at Shanghai International Studies University. Actually, I just read the news about that institute has been chosen as part of China's think tank, part of a China think tank. I think just this week, sometime earlier this week. And so they got $3 million funding to be part of that China think tank. And now let's give Professor Chen a warm welcome for his speech. And he's going to talk about One Belt, One Road. And road means a Silk Road, and belt means new economic development belt. Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to here to attend a conference. Firstly, special thanks given to Professor Kier, who invited me to this event. Secondly, a special thanks to Professor Cao, who for his kind and hospitality. And thirdly, the conference is the fruit of a friendship and cooperation between University of Montana and Shanghai International Studies University. The topic of my presentation is One Belt and One Road strategy and the Middle East energy. The presentation is divided into 6 parts. The first part about the One Belt and One Road strategy. The second part about China's energy policy in the Middle East progress. The third one is China's energy policy in the Middle East principle. The fourth one is about China's energy policy in the Middle East problems. The next one is the China's energy policy in the Middle East prospects. Then the conclusion. Now move to the first part. One Belt and One Road strategy. On September 7, 2013, Chinese President Xi Jinping proposed to build Silk Road economic belt in his speech at Kazakhstan's Nazarbayev University. On September 13, 2013, President Xi communicated with members of Shanghai cooperation organizations and proposed the roadmap of the building of the economic belts. On October 3, 2013, President Xi delivered a speech in Indonesia Parliament, expressing that China would build a maritime Silk Road together with Southeast Asia countries. On October 24 and 5, 2013, Periphery Diplomacy Conference was held in Beijing. President Xi suggested that we should insist good neighboring policies and well introduce our domestic and foreign policies, connecting the Chinese dreams and goodwills of the people in the neighboring countries and the regional development together. Let the sense of community deeply rooted in China's neighboring countries. This conference marked the official birth of China's Silk Road strategy. In July 2014, China and the BRICS countries agreed to contribute to combining $100 billion to establish the Shanghai-based New Development Bank. The bank will help improving member countries' resilience against the international financial market, implementation, and finance infrastructure projects in emerging countries. In October 2014, Beijing committed $50 billion and organized several partners countries to form New Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB. The bank will target infrastructure projects across Asia. The bank's goal is to raise $100 billion for projects. In November 8, 2014, Chinese President Xi said that China will contribute $14 billion to its new Silk Road Fund designed to improve trade and transport links in Asia. In Boao Forum for Asia last month, President Xi delivered a keynote address. In his speech, he delivered the first in-depth explanation of China's vision of the Silk Road economic belt and the Maritime Silk Road. During the Boao Forum, China's National Development and Foreign Commission, in conjunction with China's Foreign Ministry and Commerce Ministry, issued an action plan for the Belt and the Road. In the document, the Belt Road runs through the continents of Asia, Europe, and Africa, connecting East Asia Economic Circle at one end and developed European Economic Circle at the other. This is the roadmap. There are 5 roads. The first road is from China to Central Asia, to Russia, to Europe. The second road is from China to Central Asia, to Middle East, to Mediterranean. The third one from China to Southeast Asia, to South Asia, and to Europe. And the fifth one is from South China Sea to the South Pacific region countries. So the principles. The Belt and Road Initiative is in line with the proposed and the principle of the UN Charter. It upholds the 5 principles of peace coexistence, mutual respect for each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity, mutual non-aggression, mutual non-interference in each other's internal affairs, equality and mutual benefits, and a peaceful coexistence. The firstly, the initiative is open for cooperation. The second, the initiative is harmonious and inclusive. Thirdly, it follows market operation. Fourthly, is seek mutual benefits. There are 4 priorities. The first priority is policy coordination. To enhance policy coordination is an important guarantee for implementing the initiative. The second one is facility connectivity. Facility connectivity is a priority area for implementing the initiative. Unimpeded trade, investment, and trade cooperation is a major task in building the Belt and the Road. Financial integration. Financial integration is an important underpinning for implementing the Belt and Road Initiative to establish an Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and the BRICS New Development Bank, set up and put into cooperation the Silk Road Fund. Lastly, people-to-people bond. People-to-people bond provide the public support for implementing the initiative. Then we move part 2, China's energy policy in the Middle East progress. The Middle East, the main energy supply part of the world, play a very important role in the international energy system. The Chinese economy had made a rapid development since it adopted a reformed and opening up policy. There is a dramatic increase in Chinese energy demand in the recent years. The Middle East become more and more important to Chinese energy security. The Middle East become the strategic base of Silk Road economic belt and the Maritime Silk Road strategy. As early as 1993, through its going out strategy, the Chinese government encouraged its major energy companies to go out to invest in the Middle East in other regions. In the first decade of 21st century, China continued going out to Middle East with great success. From the 1990 to 2000, China's oil imports from the Middle East rose from 8.2 million barrels per day to 276 million barrels per year. By 2009, China was importing 2 million barrels per day from Middle East. By 2012, China was importing 2.9 million barrels per day from the Middle East. This is China's crude oil import sources. This is from, This is from Saudi Arabia, Angola, Iran, Russia, Oman, Iraq, Sudan. China's crude oil import has grown robustly in the past several years and reached the record high 7.1 million barrels per day by 2012. The Middle East remains the largest source of China crude oil imports. This is the percent of the Chinese oil imports. This is from Africa, this is from Middle East, for former USSR countries, from Western Hemisphere, for Asia Pacific. Now let's move to the three parts. China's energy policy in the Middle East principle. China's energy policy in the Middle East is based upon several principles. The first one is ensures regional security and stable is a precondition for energy development and energy cooperation in the Middle East. Assistance to give to Chinese firms to encourage their participation in energy development in the Middle East. Third one, fair competition and international cooperation are both to be facilitated. Last one, guaranteeing the security of sea and land roads of exporting oil and gas from the Middle East through the international cooperation, and especially through preventing sabotage of the terrorist group critical. Now move to the next part, the problems. Firstly, the recent Yemen turmoil, the Syria civil war, the long-standing Israeli-Palestinian conflicts. Risks are increasing and upgrading substantially for China to invest and cooperate. Second, terrorist Greeks are the threatened to attack the oil tanks and transportation channels, which cause more worries security for energy transportation lines. Third, the obstructions of non-economic factors, especially the corruption problems in some countries, will harm to the investors' benefits. The energy cooperation between China and the Middle East, there are some perspectives. Firstly, China is a huge energy consumption market, and the energy demand is always on the increase. Second, China now has more than $3.7 trillion foreign exchange reserves, which are necessary conditions for importing oil and gas from the Middle East and invest in the Middle East energy market. Third, China is competing to participate in the energy development in the Middle East, while China's good environment for foreign investment is attracting investing from petrochemical enterprises in the Middle East. Fourth, China has kept a good political relations with all the Middle East countries, including Israel and Iran, which has laid down a solid strategic basis for energy cooperation between China and the Middle East countries. The Great Development Campaign in the western part of China will serve as a new motive force for China's energy cooperation with the Middle East. With the reconstruction in Afghanistan, in the foreseeable future, it will become possible to construct a pipeline through Afghanistan, which will shorten the distance energy cooperation between Western China and the Middle East. Now move to last part, conclusion. To avoid over-dependence on energy resource in the Middle East, China will continue to seek and secure more overseas energy resource and transportation channels other than those in or connected to Middle East. The primary role in the Middle East in China's overall strategy for overseas energy development is still irreplaceable by that or any other, at least for the near future. Thirdly, China take a more active posture in the political and economic arena in the region. Thank you for your patient listening.
Thank you, Professor Chen. Well, next speaker is Professor Paul. Professor Paul is a professor at the Shanghai International Studies University. He's not only doing research, but he's also teaching Hebrew, right? Arabic. Okay. In Shanghai International Studies University, they not only have a major in Arabic, they also have a master's degree and PhD degree over there. So we're here at the University of Montana. Well, my colleague has been training very good students, but we only have a minor here, right? And so when you are done with your minor, you can move on to SISU to get your bachelor's degree. And well, recently I received a message from SISU to say that they are going to offer free tuition and also some scholarships if you are going over there on a degree program. So if you want to do that, well, you can do that. Or there are also student exchange programs available between University of Montana and Shanghai International Studies University on either a short-term or one-year program. So you can do a one semester program on either Persian or Hebrew over there through the exchange program. And so you will get tuition free over there, and also they will offer free lodging over there too, as a very friendly gesture to the University of Montana. So anybody who is going over there on any exchange program, you will get free tuition, free lodging. Okay, so just let you want to know that. And now let's give Professor Bao a warm welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Professor Cao, and many thanks to Dr. Kia, actually two Dr. Kias, and special thanks to Dr. Bitar. And it's my great honor to be here to attend the 13th annual conference of the center. And we all know geographically, the Islam State is far from us, far from United States, far from China, but on the internet, its penetration being everywhere, just around us, because we, nearly everybody, every one of us uses social media to interact with our friends and with some strangers. My presentation today is about the Islam State's social media strategy. Since early 2014, the Islamic State has grown quickly by conquering and controlling the territory stretching across Iraq and Syria. On the internet, this terrorist organization has expanded its influence well beyond the battlefield. Here is a diagram of IS organizational structure. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi has two top deputies, to whom 9 councils report, being responsible for creating policy and running the Islamic State. Among the 9 councils, there is a media council. There is a media council, which issues the official pronouncements and declarations of IS and manages its social media. According to reports from the Brookings Institution, almost 60% of all IS Twitter accounts were created in 2014, while only 1.3% were created in 2010. Over the past 7 years, IS has developed a sophisticated and well-targeted social media strategy, which is characterized by high-tech and professional management. IS employs experts in marketing, public relations, and visual content production to ensure the legitimate appearance of its messages. IS has different ways of naming its propaganda wings. Some are named as center, some such as Al Hayat Media Center. Well, this center is the most important English propaganda wing of IS, and sometimes it claims itself to be the Ministry of Information of the Islamic State. It produces and posts online English magazines such as ISN, ISN meaning Islamic State News, and ISR, Islamic State Report, and Dabiq, and a video series called Mujah Tweets, and some other documentary-style videos. And some wings were named as foundation, such as Al Furqan Foundation for Media Production. It produces and posts videos of beheadings, terror and violence, speeches of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and Arabic language documentary-style videos. And this wing is the most important Arabic media wing of the Islamic State. And some as a library, such as Al-Himma Library, and it produces and posts Arabic pamphlets on religious doctrines, which tends to enhance the religious legitimacy of the Islamic State. Bluff and bluster is always produced by Islamic State to create a false impression of its strength and power. In August 2014, Media Front for Victory of the Islamic State, Al-Jabhat al-Islamiyya li Nusrat al-Dawlat al-Islamiyya, a collective propaganda wing which announced its merger with 9 branches, posted a promotional video on YouTube to recruit a subtitling team, proofreading team, translation team, uploading and publishing team, designing team, visual and audio production team, and penetration testing team. IS masters brand promotion on social media. Each of its propaganda wings has its own logo. These logos were designed in different shapes, colors, and with different fonts. Al Hayat Media Center has a teardrop-shaped logo of materialized Arabic font, which highly resembles that of Al Jazeera in shape, color, and design concept. You can see on the left. On the left is the logo of Al Hayat Media Center, and on the right is Al Jazeera's. And they seem to be exactly the same. In this way, Al Hayat Media Center virtually took advantage of the reputation and influence of Al Jazeera, one of the most influential media channels in the Middle East, to make the audience mistake Al Hayat Media Center's propaganda for Al Jazeera's. A number of IS English online magazines are claimed to be produced by Al Hayat Media Center, including Islamic State News, Islamic State Report, Dabiq, and Mujah Tweets. Mujah Tweets is a video series intended to depict IS as an organization beloved by its civilians and establishing a better society, of which 8 episodes have been released in total. You can see. These are 8 episodes of Mujah Tweet series. And the word Mujah Tweets is most likely a combination of 2 words. One is mujahid, meaning jihadist, and other is tweets. Also, Flames of War, a documentary-style video released shortly after U.S. President Barack Obama vowed to degrade and destroy the Islamic State. On Facebook, IS posted advertisements on selling T-shirts bearing its logo, and slogans such as "We are all ISIS" and "Fight for freedom until the last drop of blood." One can buy an IS T-shirt for around $10. IS-themed products other IS-themed products, including hoodies, mugs, and key rings, and even toy figurine of an Islamic State fighter clutching a rifle and holding an IS flag, were sold online and marketed across social media to urge Muslims to support the Islamic State. On Twitter, IS makes full use of hashtags to attract users to interact with its propaganda and leverage it at maximum speed across the site. By adding a hot hashtag or an organized one, sometimes in English, sometimes in Arabic, sometimes in both English and Arabic, a single tweet could achieve its secondary dissemination with ease. On YouTube, Dailymotion, LiveLeak, and other video sharing websites, the Islamic State posts videos with organized hashtags which got thousands of views and reposted by a large number of users shortly after. The Islamic State launched its brand promotion through various channels. IS has established its official sites such as the Islamic State, the Islamic news agency Truth, the official Arabic language news site, and Istirat Tube, IS' own video site, though it is described by itself as an unofficial site to display the released materials of the Islamic State. IS also fully utilizes social networking sites, video sharing sites, online storage sites, forums, mobile applications, online games, and computer viruses aimed at further expansion of its influence. Internet Archive and other online storage sites are frequently used by IS to upload and backup its online magazines, pamphlets, audio and video files, and download links are widely posted through Twitter, just pasted Instagram, and other social media. To diversify the sources of information and magnify the effects of propaganda, the Islamic State also developed Fajr al-Bashair, meaning dawn of glad tidings, an Arabic language mobile application to post real-time updates from the battlefield by combining text with pictures, video messages, voice messages, and videos. By this means, IS increased the group's popularity and amplified its message exponentially through its cross-platform propaganda. The Islamic State also utilizes botnets, a network of computers containing Trojan viruses or other similar malicious code in order to perform tasks assigned by the network's creator or controller, to send out recruiting messages with links to pictures and videos designed to appeal to the young recruits. Al-Naba, meaning the reports, an Arabic language annual report of IS military campaign in Iraq. According to Al-Naba of 2014, 7,681 military operations were classified by month, area, and type. There are 14 types of operations carried out by IS, including assassination, armed attacks, bombings, prisoner freed, suicide vests, knife attacks, target attacks, sniping, etc. This indicates that the Islamic State has a disciplined military command that reports attacks across operating areas and has a centralized command structure for its military campaign that is superior to all of regional military commands in its controlled area. On Twitter, IS supporters use a wide variety of images to make their identity. Typical Twitter profile pictures include variations of the flag used by IS, images of Al-Qaeda founder Osama bin Laden, and prominent IS members and leaders, including Jihadi John. This guy, Jihadi John, the well-known masked executioner of IS, and Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Smaller accounts often use the default tweet egg. While large accounts sometimes employ images unrelated to IS, perhaps meant to pledge against suspension by Twitter. In its online magazines and videos, IS attempts to spread terror and violence on the one hand and show governance and social services provided in its controlled areas on the other, such as forming a government, opening hospitals, aiding the poor, paving roads, calling for prayer, setting up schools, mostly are religious schools, issuing driving license and passports, developing agriculture, announcing new currency, regulating and directing traffic, providing water, electricity, and gas supply services. And here is a screenshot in the video released by IS, by its propaganda wing called Media Office of Raqqa Province. And you can see the logo here, the Arabic word Raqqa. And a car driving license issued by Department of Transportation in Raqqa Province of the Islamic State. As part of its campaign of psychological warfare, IS issues passports for the international terrorists. The leather-bound passport is inscribed with State of Islamic Caliphate at the top and also allegedly says, if the holder of the passport is harmed, we will deploy armies for his service. In November 2014, IS officially announced plans to produce its own currency in areas under its control, in what it describes as a move to emancipate itself from the satanic global economic system, but its announcement did not indicate when the currency will come into circulation. A global recruitment plan is being carried out by IS through social media. It posts tweets in multi-languages, including English, Arabic, French, German, Russian, Turkish, Hindi, Urdu, and Armenian. Young jihadis with rabid religious extremism will be instigated to join the group to fight in Iraq and Syria. Also, female recruits aren't enlisted for combat, but rather to build community, teach first aid, and carry out domestic tasks like cooking and sewing. Al-Zawra Foundation for Media Production is a female-specific jihadi media group of the Islamic State under the slogan, prepare, prepare until we are honored with jihad. The Islamic State is now actively recruiting women who could play unique and supplementary roles in daily life, keeping their jihadist husbands happy and fulfilled by making pancakes and other desserts or dishes after a day of fighting, according to IS propaganda. It is worthwhile to note that the Islamic State is training a new generation of jihadists. New IS video shows indoctrination of young boys trained to become jihadists in Al Farouk Institute for Cubs in Syria. In this video, children received weapons training and religious education, which seems to indicate that IS systematically provides weapons training and brainwashing for innocent children who will be deployed in active combat during military operation. Through its social media propaganda, IS has posed lots of challenges. Has posed lots of challenges to real world. Its targeted recruitment includes, but not limited to, young Westerners, women and teenagers, soldiers, hackers, and teams of marketing, public relations, translation, and post-production of video. And back of terrorists from the Islamic State will be a thorny issue to their countries. Great importance should also be attached to a new generation of jihadists who are being bred and trained by IS. Since its establishment, IS has aimed at subverting modern nation-state system by the restoration of caliphates, which has been repeatedly stressed in IS online propaganda. The spread of more extremist ideology, which caused fabrications and misunderstandings of Islamic doctrines, are widely spread and emphasized in its online magazines, videos, and tweets, such as the notion of takfir. Takfir is meaning the act of declaring someone to be a non-believer or an apostate, which has damaged the image of Islam. But because it is forbidden in Islam to declare people non-Muslim unless he or she openly declares disbelief. And Dr. Bitar will provide us with more information on the perspectives of Islam later this afternoon. IS is expanding its network of affiliates following the declaration of the establishment of a caliphate. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi called for jihadi groups around the world to pledge allegiance to IS, which has been increasingly incited by IS over social media. Now there have been more than 30 jihadi groups which has supported IS or pledged allegiance to al-Baghdadi, thus forming a global terrorist alliance to IS. Each of Pakistan and the Philippines has 4 jihadi groups in support of IS. Libya and Egypt each has 3. Algeria, Tunisia, Syria, Yemen, and Afghanistan each has 2. Nigeria, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Lebanon, India, and Indonesia each has 1 jihadi group in support of IS. Almost everyone has been involved in social media activities. The same is true of the terrorists and extremists. Leaders of terrorist groups have realized that have realized the importance of social media as an outreach tool of mobilization in international politics, especially in deterrent conflicts. In this context, terrorism, religious extremism, sectarianism, and violent ideologies could easily interact with each other to make anger intensified and militants gathered from a virtual world. This also constitutes challenges in the real world. Thank you.
Yeah, we only have 10 minutes. Probably we only have enough time for 2 questions. Well, there's a microphone here where anybody who wants to ask a question, would you please raise your hand and use that microphone? And please be specific which professor you are directing your question to. Anybody have any questions? Yes, please.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you all for coming here. It's been a really, really enlightening, and just want to thank you for making the trip. My question is for Professor Bao. Recently, it was said in the news that ISIS actually declared war on, or jihad, on the Taliban. So have we seen a shift in the ISIS propaganda machine to try and discredit other terrorist groups like the Taliban, or are they still focusing on the sort of recruitment of, I suppose, is there like propaganda machine now? I don't know if I'm like asking my question properly. I don't know how to word it, but is the propaganda machine targeting ISIS, or sorry, the Taliban now, or are they still focusing on recruitment?
Well, according to some information I got, IS is a terrorist organization largely different from Al-Qaeda and Taliban. And of all its members, of all its team, the social media team, Saudi Arabians, Syrians, and Americans are the most components of the team. And on the one hand, they are they recruit, and on the other hand, they want to show to the whole world that it's different from the Al-Qaeda. Because Al-Qaeda mainly focuses on the far enemy. You know, the far enemy are the United States, the Western world. But IS focuses both on far enemy and near enemy. And it killed not only Christians, non-believers, Shia Muslims, and also Sunni Muslims. And that's, I don't know if this is the answer you want to get.
Oh, no, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, probably we'll have a time, just for a short question. Anybody? Yes, please.
Thank you for presenting. I have a question for Professor Yang. Just where do you see, since China has relations with both Israel and Iran, where do you see that future going, since they're both, Israel and Iran, don't like each other very much? How do you see that playing out in the future?
Israel and what? Sorry, Israel and China.
Israel and Iran, and you talked about
Iran, Israel and Iran. The future of relations
Yes.
between Israel and Iran.
Well, since China has relations with both Israel and
Yes.
Iran,
Yes,
how do you
yes.
see that working out, since Israel and Iran both, are enemies?
Yes, China is not so many countries in the world have the good relations with both with Iran and Israel. Yeah. China also is a one member of the P5+1. Yes, China has our interest in Iran. Many cooperation with Iran. I think it's yes, and another things. I think it's Israel always. Many times I met Israeli diplomats or scholars. They said you shouldn't believe what the Iranians say. They always lie, but I think China has our interest. It's not a bad thing for Israel because China has the relationship with Iran. Maybe sometimes we can do something for the Irans. If we refuse Iran, or we also isolate Iran like U.S., it's not a good thing, I think. Maybe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming here for this session. After this, we have 3 more sessions. One is 2:10, and the other one is 3:30. And the last one will be 6 o'clock. It's a roundtable discussion. So well, for those who do have a time, and please stay with us. Thank you.